Hello dancer, welcome to another episode of Freedom Podcast. Today I'm happy to have in the studio an amazing contemporary dancer and she has won multiple awards internationally and in South Africa. Please let's welcome Tatijana.
Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful to be here with
How are you?
Good, thanks, and yourself?
All good, all good. Thank you for coming to my podcast.
It's a privilege.
And like I was saying to you, for me this is a new platform that we can give to all the dancer and they be able to express themselves here.
It's amazing, and I can't wait to speak about my passion with you.
Good. So let's start from the beginning. How do you start your career in dance?
Well, I mean, it's actually not really a special story, but I was 4 years old and both my parents were working at the time. And there was a dance studio that was 2 minutes away from my house. So I literally could walk there, And my parents saw my sister and I dancing in the TV room to like Lady Gaga music.
Oh, really?
And then they were just like, okay, let's just take them to the dance studio as like a hobby for after school because they obviously had work. And to be honest with you, ever since then, it's been history. So it was never like, should I carry on dancing? Should I not? It was always just like an amazing thing for me to just go to that studio every single day, which was a 2-minute walk from my house, So it was nothing really special, but it's just how I started my journey.
And who was your teacher in your career?
So I actually started with freestyle dancing, disco.
Okay.
And her name was Ashley Moore, a blonde lady. And she was my first, I would say, a mentor in a way of getting me to be confident to going onto the stage. And I trained with her for about 3 years.
Okay.
And then that's when I started contemporary. But yes, that's obviously we'll get into later because it's a long story with how my career actually came to where it is at the moment. And yeah, it's like amazing to see how I've grown from something that's completely different to what I'm doing at the moment. But if it wasn't for that time in dance, I wouldn't be the dancer I am today. So it's just amazing to see where I've ended up,
No, that's amazing. Yeah. And you knew in the beginning that there was a hard work to do, or it just was a hobby for you?
For me, it was never hard work because I loved it from the first day I stepped foot into the dance studio. So some people would say, yes, dance is hard work when it comes to the physical and mental capacity you need to have. But at the end of the day, that work wasn't work for me because it intrigued me. The harder things got, the stronger I became. So it was never a thing of saying that it was hard for me. It was just a passion. And the harder it became, my passion grew even bigger, So it's nothing that complicated. It's just, are you willing to put in the work to be your best self? Not even better than your competitors or better than the people that are in your studio, but rather like, am I capable of being better? If I am, how do I get there, So you want to have a conqueror's mindset.
Yeah, and that's really important because for the new generation to have that mindset that you have is amazing because some of them they just want to get there as soon as possible.
I agree, yes.
without
the hard work. They just want the rewards.
And sometimes I feel like no, but you have to be able to work hard and be able to express as well because this is not an easy career. And I'm happy that you are here as well because some of the dancers they look up to you as well. I've been watching you on Instagram as well, and I want for you to tell in your experience how is it to become a professional dancer?
So it's actually funny. I've never really been a professional dancer. So yes, I've done a few gigs, for example, like Bidvest and maybe like a Jungle Oats advert. But it's never really been like my main goal to be a professional dancer, as in corporate world. But I do love to choreograph and teach, and I've been doing it since the age of 13.
Oh wow!
So I'm not really someone to be in the corporate world, but I am in love with the process to creating those pieces and being creative with an individual, creating on their bodies. And that's basically my role in a professional industry, but not really like doing gigs and stuff like that. So,
but to be when you say you don't want to be a professional, you don't need to dance in big company to become a professional.
Yeah.
If you work hard and dedicate yourself to this, I think you're already a professional.
I agree. I like that mindset.
Because sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm a professional, but I don't like to work.
Yeah.
What's that?
How you professional?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like already you are with such a young age. you can be a professional. You are a professional,
Thank
so
you.
that doesn't matter. I just want to go back in when you're starting your career. Do you have any mentor that you say, "Oh, I'm gonna look up to this person, and then I will carry on because you're making me dance and making me, you know?"
Yeah, well, if I had to have a list in front of me right now, we'd literally be sitting here the whole day. Because I believe that I can learn from anyone and everyone. So I do have multiple people in the dance industry that have inspired me and have taught me to be the person I am today. But I must say, like you said, in the early years of dance, I had a mentor. He actually still is. His name's Dr. Bailey Snyman. And he has taught me, yes, how to move my body, how to point a toe, how to roll on the floor. But at the end of the day, he taught me how to go about life. He taught me the life lessons when it came to dance as well, because if it wasn't for dancing, I wouldn't be able to go through life the way I'm going through life, with the mindset I have, with the dedication that it's built into me, you know. So Bailey Snyman has really helped me in numerous ways. I mean, I did my first theatre piece with him. So it was called Gaslands, and it was when I was 12 years old. And I travelled to Grahamstown for this massive arts festival. And I was dancing with all professional dancers, and I was only this little 12-year-old, you know.
Wow.
So he's given me so many opportunities outside of the competition world. He's taught me how to teach different individuals, because you obviously have to look at each individual differently with the way you teach them. So there's a lot more to the things that a dance teacher teaches you. You can only call someone a mentor when they are bringing you up through life, you know. And I know that one day I'll be able to fly out of his nest with my wings wide open, you know. So it's amazing how we actually even met. So I was with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Vanessa Bennett. She was a director in the AIDT. And
I think I heard about it, yeah.
And I actually started dancing contemporary in her studio.
Okay.
And she was like, you need to go take workshops. You need to start learning and putting yourself out of your comfort zone. So you need to go to Bailey Snyman's workshop. So I went there, and he was teaching us a musical theatre piece. I was like, this is not what I signed up for, you know. Anyways.
It's completely different. Bro.
Exactly. And an hour later, he used that same musical theatre piece, which was Hairspray, actually. And he changed it into contemporary dance. Literally with every single step was the same, changed the music, and made us just experiment with the way of moving our bodies in a certain position. And I was like, this man has changed my perspective in dance. Like, from a musical theatre piece, taking that same piece, changing the song, it turns into contemporary. It was insane to see. So my father, obviously I was young, he was sitting in watching, and we went up to him and asked him, please teach me, like, please, I want to learn from you. And it literally took us months to get him to teach me. And the one day he was like, okay, fine, you know, I'll start teaching you. And ever since then, it's been history with him, you know, like, we've made such a relationship together that we actually help each other. And he's not so egotistic that he'll say, I've done this for Tatijana, I've done that, you know, like he will say, we help each other. Like, I'll call him and I'll be like, Bailey, I need this, like, I'm stuck here, how do I tackle this situation? If he needs help, he's like, Tati, come do this for me, you know. So I feel like for him, he's always been by my side no matter what, you know, from the beginning. So he is my mentor.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing. And also, I think I saw another, I could say, because I love her as well.
Yes.
And Debbie Rakusin.
Oh my gosh.
What is your thought about it? Because I saw every time that she's on Instagram, she posts video of you. Like, she's very proud of you.
No, she has taught me so much in everything as well, and specifically in jazz. And for the past few years, I was training with her as well. And we also would just sit in the studio and just chat about everything in life, you know. And my last world championship, actually, when I was 16, she was teaching me jazz. And honestly, she's taught me so much about my own body that I didn't know I could even do, you know. And the way she holds herself as a lady, the way she speaks, the way she puts herself out there, I just think it's incredible to see how a lady of that caliber also believed in me, you know. And she pushed me to my limits. In the dance studio, it was always, let's go, you can do better, you know. So I'm very grateful to have crossed paths with her. And yeah, she's an amazing woman, really, she is.
And for me, she's one of the most amazing person that I have ever met in South Africa.
A very intelligent woman.
Yeah. And she have, I don't know, dance go through her, you know.
Literally, she loves it.
Yeah, and I have heard like she was my third guest in my podcast,
I
and
saw.
we were talking
I listened
about.
to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it, and the way that she was speaking, because I have never had the opportunity to talk to Debbie. Like sit, you know, I always sing like Debbie, hello Debbie, how are you? She come to my show, and that's it. But we never have that opportunity to sit. And when she spoke, I was like, okay, I already knew that you were that type of person.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's amazing. She's
She
amazing.
is. No, I agree 100% with you.
Why you think that having mentors around you make you grow as a professional dancer?
Okay, I do. Okay, I think with every yin, there's a yang. So with every good, there's a bad. Yes, you can have 100 people around you. But if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't put in the work you have to put in, you're going to end up nowhere. So yes, it is important to have those people next to you. But at the end of the day, so many people have done it without mentors as well. You know what I mean? So it's not impossible. But at the end of the day, some people do need that extra push. Some people do need to know how do I go about the situation if they're stuck in a situation, you know? But at the end of the day, it's up to you. You can't let anyone do the work for you. You can't ask for it, you know. I don't know if you've heard of the saying, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't force it to drink. It's exactly the same thing. So,
Exactly.
yes, I'm super grateful for the people that have been next to me and have taught me what I know. But at the end of the day, I did put in so much more work on my own, you know. So I think it takes a lot more than just having a mentor. Yeah.
No, I think that's important because without a mentor, is for us as a dancer,
Yes.
we won't get anywhere.
Because it's also about who you know
Exactly.
as well, in a way. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think for me, it's better to have one person that guides you to the right place than have like many and be like.
And they've also been there from the beginning, so they know you well.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah. I just want to ask you, what challenge do you face during your journey as a dancer, like where you say I don't want to do this anymore, or make you like feel like down and don't believe in what you're doing?
So I've never really actually had it out. I've never ever thought I don't want to do this anymore, or will I want to carry this on after school or anything. I've just known, to be honest, from the beginning, yes, there have been challenges. But at the end of the day, like I said, you have to have a conqueror's mindset. You have to be able to overcome those obstacles, because it's like everything in life. You're going to have obstacles. It's just overcoming them. And in a way, it's also what makes you stronger. It makes what makes you better in your field. So in everything in life, like I said, like a lot of people had a lot of things to say about me when I was competing. But it went through the one ear and out the other ear, because at the end of the day I still got my results. I was achieving what I wanted to achieve, but I was in my own path. I was on my own lane, doing my things at my own pace. So I was always just thinking about what do I need to do to get myself to my best self, not what is everyone else doing that I need to do as well, you know. So it's very much up to you and how you think about things, and I feel like you got to have a strong mindset. In anything in life, you have to have a strong mindset, because people will want to bring you down. And people do try to bring you down. The better you become, the harder it is to stay at the top. And that's actually something that Debbie Rikusen told me. She was like, it must be very hard to stay at the... She even knows, because she's at the top. You know, it's easy to get... Okay, it's hard to get to the top, but it's even harder to stay there, you know. And it's true. It is very true. But that's why you just got to become stronger, you know. And from a young age, I've always made sure that I've worked on my mindset, because it's then 80% of the way you go through life is how you think about things, you know.
And when you dance, when you go for a competition or when you go on stage, do you feel any pressure from the audience or from your studio, from someone else, when you say, okay, she's Tatijana, so I have to do it at the top level? Because, you know, sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't feel like dancing today, but I have to do this.
Look, I mean, it's normal to feel pressure when you're competing. I mean, especially when... I feel like I actually had more pressure because I put that pressure on myself. Not because I actually cared about what other people were going to think about Tatijana. Because, to be honest with you, I didn't really care. Like, no one else cares about you more than you care about yourself. So, at the end of the day, I feel like I put that pressure on myself. And it's a good type of pressure. For me, it was healthy competition. you know. And if it was unhealthy competition, I would always make sure that I pulled myself out of that environment and I just stuck to myself. So yes, I was nervous at competitions, and yes, people are always watching, but at the end of the day, I know myself. I know what I'm meant to do on stage. I know how I'm meant to act off of the stage. You know, and I just made sure that people never had anything bad to say about me, because I set my standards from the beginning of when I started competing or even dancing. So I knew that no one could bring me down, and I knew what I was meant to do. I worked hard to be there, so I deserved to be there, you know.
And that's really good you say that, because for me, sometimes in Cuba, when I was dancing in Cuba in my school, we have this competition once a year. So imagine having a school of 200 kids.
Jeez, that's insane.
And you have to do an audition to get into that competition. And the thing is, like, as a Cuban dancer, we are well prepared for competition because we prepare the whole year to that competition. So we don't do any other competition around. We just do that one. But we prepare like 7 months for that competition. By the time you get there, you just feel like, okay, I want to compete, but I want to do it, you know, to enjoy myself, to show off properly.
That's what you're working for.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like 7 months, everybody's in the studio, because in Cuba we have like a big school and everybody goes to the studio and we don't see nothing until that day on the competition.
And I feel like it's the process that's beautiful, you know, and that's actually amazing, because then when you're at the competition, you see how hard everyone's been working and who's actually been working the hardest, you know.
And how do you prepare mentally and physically for the competition? How is your preparation for that?
So, to be honest with you, it's like, are you asking internationally and locally, or in general?
I think, in general. Let's say in general, yeah.
So, for me, it's a routine. For me, it's a habit. So, I never really change anything before a competition. I just make sure that I'm consistent with whatever I'm doing. Like this popular saying, consistency is key, you know. So, I always make sure that I'm working on the things that I was slacking on the competition before. And I feel like you were saying, one competition a year. In the beginning of competing, I feel like that's a bit difficult, because how do you know how you're going to perform on stage? Because we all know it's very different to performing in 4 walls, you know. So I evaluate how I performed the competition before, see what I need to work on, concentrate on those things, and then go to the next competition. So mentally, I feel like from a young age, my parents have brought me up strong. So it was something that was embedded in me. I didn't have to think, oh my gosh, I have to think positively. I have to, you know, so it was something that came naturally. And physically, it was just consistency with all my trainings, whether that be fitness, tech, ballet, because I did do ballet, obviously.
Everybody's so scared of ballet.
I got so much respect for that style. So yeah, it was just being consistent in everything in life, even my eating plans, you know, I had to be extremely consistent, because for me, if one thing was just out of place, it would ruin everything. Really? Everything had to be so perfect leading up to the competition, or else my mental mind would shift, you know. So, yeah.
Well, talk more about your eating consistency, because I think that's important for dancers.
Yes.
That they need to learn that eating, okay, you can eat, because I love McDonald's. You know, but I understand that when you have to have a major competition or big production, you need to be able to look like in a sentence way. But the thing is, for me, is like, how can we look like in that position? Because ballet, you need to look certain way, contemporary, different way. Yes. So how is that important for you in your training and in your dancing, of course?
Okay, so I'm going to be brutally honest now.
No, please.
We all know, and everyone knows, that I really do not have the right physique to be a dancer. So from the beginning, I knew, okay, ballet isn't for me, because I definitely, even if I had to not eat, I would never have the right physique to be a ballerina. So when it came to contemporary, a lot of people obviously had things to say about my body image, you know, but I knew I trained hard, and I did different types of training forms to help me with my specific styles. And when it came to diet, it was more like I need to fuel my body in order for it to be able to do what I'm asking it to do. Why must I now bully my body into doing something? It's not right, you know. And obviously it does get difficult sometimes, because you're just hearing your legs are too big, or this is wrong with you, you know. But at the end of the day, can your body do what you're asking it to do? If it can, and you still look like an athlete, okay, because I don't think you're ever going to see a sprinter looking fat. And unfortunately, that's how it is. You have to have the aesthetic. So that's why I never ever put my toe into the ballet industry, because I know I could never make it. So when it comes to eating, I feel like it's just, you got to fuel your body the right way with the right things. It's not really like a matter of anything else. It's just, you got to also know, do I want to be a ballerina? So you have to eat that way. You need to be professionally in the right plan, though, because you don't want to also detriment your career because you're trying to fit in. It's just something you also got to know yourself well. Yeah.
And it's important because in my experience as well, I never thought that a professional dancer, or let's say a boys dance, can have problem with food. I experienced that when COVID hit.
Yeah.
I ate a lot because I was so disappointed. Before that, I have a gala to do, like a big gala in Spain, and it was one of the most important gala like around the world. And I got so disappointed that I just my body just
gave up.
I just went to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, having like a full meal at 3 o'clock in the morning. And the funny thing, like, I didn't realize that. My dad is a contemporary dancer as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what and he told me after a few weeks that we were doing some class at home, and he said, "You're picking weight, Like, no, I'm not. That's okay." Then after we finished the COVID, then everybody started going to the school or whatever, company, and my manager said to me, "You have 1 month to lose weight.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're not going to go to the gala." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And the thing is, like, my weight right now is like 62. In that moment, it was 62 because I didn't do gym.
Any training? Yeah.
Was 62 when
so you
COVID,
had a different look. It wasn't that you were fat. It was just,
No, but wait. That was my normal weight. But when COVID hit, I weighed 70 pounds.
Jeez, and that's a big difference. And I so understand what you're saying, because I went through the exact same thing. And my father is also extremely honest with me. He, from the beginning, will say, "Tati, like, look at you, what are you doing, So, but I'm also grateful to have that next to me, because I want the honesty. I don't want my parents to say, "You're looking beautiful," if you're not, So, and it's a profession. You are paid to do that. So you have to look the part. You have to fit the aesthetic. So it's understandable. So I know exactly what you mean. So, like I said, consistency. You have to be in your own lane. You have to know what you're worth, and you have to stop looking at what others are doing and become a sheep. You can't do that, because it's going to dim your light. Because at the end of the day, no one can be better than you if you're just yourself, because you can be your best self. No one can be your best self. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you have to be in your own lane and go at your own pace. Everyone has their own path. And like you said in the beginning, people tend to rush things. Like, let's say because you're doing 5 parades, now I have to do 5.
Yeah,
you understand?
exactly.
That was a very small and dumb example, but it's that honest. You got to be that honest with yourself. And, I feel like a lot of people like to blame, the judges were not good, or, oh my gosh, the people backstage were talking about this before I went on, the floor slippery. At the end of the day, if you're not happy with your placing, go sit in the audience, go watch who placed ahead of you, and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Was I meant to place ahead? Or were they actually better than me? If they're better than you, how can I be better?
Exactly.
So you have to keep comparing yourself in a healthy way, though. It can't be negative. So that's the only thing I can say. You have to try find yourself in dance as well. And the way you're going to do this is by finding the correct mentor to have next to you. We go back to that.
So, Tatijana, you have performed in South Africa and internationally. What is the difference to perform in South Africa and international? What can you see that you say, okay, we need to bring that to South Africa, or South Africa needs to bring that?
I'm so grateful you asked me this question. Because I feel that the dance competitions here have taken a big backseat, unfortunately. And I feel the reason being is dance teachers and mentors, we're going back to this, that they care more about entitlement and the trophies you bring back to the studio rather than an actual individual. Like, it's that honest, you know what I mean? It's sad to see how when students stop bringing trophies to the studio, you almost get blind-eyed, you know, instead of saying, okay, how can we improve this now? You know, and a lot of them also care more about the trophies than the mental health of a dancer. What's the point of teaching a dancer that's only going to dance for 2 years because you were the one that ruined their passion? You were the one that made them stop dancing, made them stop loving it, you know? And it hurts me because I've seen that many times in the industry. And, you know, and I feel like choreographers as well don't travel enough to see what's out there, to see the different trends. Not saying that you have to follow the trends, but just to see how things are evolving. How can I be different to what the world is bringing, you know? Because that's how you start becoming better as a choreographer as well, you know? And it's what's going to grow people in the country. And I feel like, for example, we have such a beautiful dance culture here.
I know.
But so many people are trying to follow what's happening in Europe.
You
Just
think
because, yes, 100%. Why don't we dance to any African music here? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Wow, that's
you hear so
a
many
good
people
one.
dancing to the things that people are dancing overseas, but why not bring our own culture overseas? Because then that way you stand out, you know? So there's many things that need to be changed in this country, I feel, as an industry. And yeah, I just feel like European dancers also use competitions as springboards to get into the dance industry, not as in, I have a trophy and I have this many more titles. Yes, that's all beautiful, but at the end of the day, what are you going to do with that? If you're going to stopping competing and not have anything to do after, what was the point? Because I can guarantee you now, no one has ever asked me when I go overseas, how many world titles have you won? At the end of the day, can you dance? Are you an artist? And then put those two together. Because I feel like, for example, in South Africa, I've heard of so many students that practice a solo for 2 years. And I just think to myself, so you telling me you walk into the studio every single day
And
to
do
practice
the
the same moves for 2 years just so you can get a trophy. So you would much rather have a plastic trophy on your cupboard instead of saying, I've grown. You know, so I feel like you need to use competitions for the right reasons. Like I said in the beginning, I used it to see what I was lacking, and for the next competition made that a goal that I need that to be the reason why I won. And I feel like in South Africa, people care more about the trophy, you know, and it's not about that, honestly.
Wow, that's powerful. I promise you, I didn't think that you would say that. Because, like I said, you do a lot of competition, but your mindset is not like other studio competition, you know? So you want to go there and show yourself and be like, okay, that's powerful.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
thinking about, I'm going to win. If I win, good.
Good.
But if you're not, I have to keep going and growing and growing.
Exactly.
And what you said about the student going for 2 years with the same thing, that's for me pointless.
Yes, I agree. Exactly.
Because I have seen, like, the last year I went to SIBC as a judge, and I saw, I'm a big fan of contemporary, okay? But if I see something different, I would say, okay, I love it. But literally, I saw like 10 contemporary dancers with the same step.
Thing. Exactly. And that's when it comes down to the choreographers and individuals not traveling enough or not doing enough research even, because some people don't have the resources I had, which I'm very thankful that my parents were able to support me and be my back structure for getting me overseas to learn, for bringing people here for me to learn with, you know. So I am grateful for that. But we have YouTube, we have Instagram. Research and see what other people are doing, and don't copy them, but see what you can do better, what you can do different, you know. And I feel like people just do what's comfortable. What's the point? You know, you got to be uncomfortable to grow.
Yeah, and do you think it's because they don't want to, some choreographers, they feel like, okay, I don't want to go overseas because I'm good in what I'm doing here, or it's more like laziness?
No, I don't feel like it's a laziness. I think it is easier said than done. So saying I'm going to go to Europe tomorrow, like us, we get to say that. We're going to Europe, you know, whatever. But some people can't afford to do that. You know,
Yeah,
you have bills to pay.
yeah.
But I've seen this many times where choreographers will choreograph just for the sake of choreography. Just for the sake of doing choreography. But instead of choreographing for an individual, so for example, if you were choreographing, you shouldn't choreograph the same way for me that you choreograph for someone else. Because what looks good on me is not going to
It's
look good
not
on you.
exactly.
I have a completely different body structure. I can do completely different things. But now, you're not going to give me a ballet solo. Something that clicked like this. And then I would find a song that we both resonate with. And I always say to them, you got to be open with me. If you don't like something, tell me. Because you're the one dancing it at the end of the day, Obviously, if it's hard, you're going to work towards it. But if it doesn't feel like it's meant to be for you, then you tell me and we work it together, And I always make sure that when I'm choreographing, I leave room for improvement and space for them to add in their selves, because I don't want them to look exactly like me. I want you to be able to find yourself within the piece, So I'll never just teach choreography and leave them to go and compete. I want to teach choreography and teach them how to interpret themselves within my choreography, because then it becomes a process and a beautiful collab of me and the student. I don't want it to just be, there's another Tatijana on the stage, And I want them to be able to leave my studio saying, okay, I've learned this about myself, not just I've learned how to kick my leg, so yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And what type of music do you choose when you do contemporary? Like, there is a lot of people that use like sad music and all the
So
things.
it varies, like I'm Serbian, so art is a big thing in our country, and we do, because obviously my father is from Serbia,
Okay.
and we would sit and listen to music late at night together, and there's beautiful instruments that we play there, and I usually like cut those things and put them together, or I'll find something, like if someone wants a lyrical, it's different. A lyrical, then you want to choose something that's more popular and in date. But when it comes to contemporary, I also try to get input from the students, not just what I feel we should do too, But I'm very grateful that everyone I've actually choreographed so far trust me and say, yes, that's the song we're using, So, it's all about also knowing the individual and what will suit them, like I said. But I try find pieces that people haven't danced to before, because I don't know if you've been to a competition and you hear the same thing come over and over again, and you just want to be like, can we not hear something different? So that's why I try choose something that no one's danced to before, because then you're like, oh my gosh, she's on stage, let's go watch. So you want to captivate the audience.
Sure, that's amazing. And you've been talking about your dad and about your dad, about
Yes.
your dad. How important is your family support on these things in this journey?
Wow. I'm very family orientated, but it's because I have such an amazing family. I have a brother and a sister. My brother used to come sit till 1 o'clock in the morning watching my dance competitions.
Really?
Yes. Shame. And my sister actually also used to dance. We used to do duets together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She
and
stopped dancing?
Yeah, she plays basketball now, and
Okay.
she's studying at Stellenbosch.
Okay, that's
Yes.
nice.
So my mom and dad have always been the best support structure for me. Whenever I saw a vision, they backed me on it. And they just, even if it was the craziest thing, they'd be like, okay, do it. We're here for you. But at the end of the day, they also gave me that independence from a young age which I feel like a lot of people lack these days because everything is given to us on silver platters in my generation, you know. So my parents always gave me everything I wanted, but at the end of the day, I had to work for it. You know, they were able to pay for all my trips, and I'm so grateful for that. And one stage I was like, no, I need to pay for myself because I need to learn the value of money because my parents were able to give me everything, you know, and I want to know how hard it is to work for that. You know, you
100%.
appreciate it a lot more. And shame my parents hearing music at 3 a.m. in the morning and 12 p.m. in the evening. So we really did work together as a family, and they've always just been there for me, and it was never hard for them. So yeah, and I just want to make them proud, you know, because they've really put in so much effort into my life, and I'm grateful for where it's gotten me. You know, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be the person I am at all.
Yeah. 100%. And the role of the parent is really important for a dancer. And I want to know, what do you think the role of the parent should be when they l- tell the kid to go to the studio and do ballet? Because I feel sometimes like the parents want to dance more than the kid. What is your advice for all the parents that want to step into the studio and be like, my kid needs to do that, giving more advice than you as a teacher, you know?
So my parents, I think they knew their boundaries, which I'm so grateful for because, like you're saying, I've seen so many hectic parents out there, and it's ruined some kids' passions, you know, and you look at them and you're like, how can you not see what you're doing to your child, you know? So my parents literally just used to drop me off at the studio and leave me there. Because at the end of the day, if your child wants something, they will do it. They will work towards it. I mean, if you want it more than your child, there's a big issue there. And everyone has something that they're good in. So if it's not dancing, find what else you're good at. And I feel like parents become more competitive than the children. And that's when the competition becomes unhealthy. And that ruins the passion of the child. And I've seen it. I've seen it many, many times. And it just becomes this whole toxic environment. So my advice is you want to be there for your child, but you don't want to invest too much because you want to see if your child actually wants it. Because let's be honest, if I had to leave the house now and my parents left me, but they were there the whole time pushing me, I would turn into nothing because I'd be so used to those words coming out their mouths all the time in my ears, you know. So you want to be able to see that your child wants it as bad more than everyone else, you know, because then they'll push themselves. Yes, sometimes you do need the motivation saying, come on, you can. Or some children will probably go to their parents and say, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, just because there's a little bit of an obstacle in front of them. So you need that encouragement to help them over it a bit, you know. So I think that's where a parent should come in, but you should leave the child to do what they want. And at the end of the day, if you do not trust the teacher enough to be with your child, you shouldn't have the child there. You know, you need to find someone that you trust your child with and trust the process. That's all I can say.
That's always what I say to the parents and to the kids. Just trust the process, because this is not a career that you...
It's not 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. We spend many years and still doing it, like every single day. So for me, the parents is just, I don't have nothing against the parent, because I feel the parent is
they want the best.
Exactly,
and
they have the hard work. Educate your kids, and also to be able to your kids follow the dream, you know.
Yes.
But sometimes I feel like they want that more than the kid, and I say no, just relax, because you don't need. In Cuba, if my moms go to the school and say, no, why my kid's not dancing this, that was like, mom, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, like all the meeting that we have with the parents in Cuba, it was just to say, okay, Monier is lazy, he needs to work more. My mom would say, Monier,
yes,
work more, you know. But not like, whoa, why my kids not dancing there? Why my kids not going to the competition? And that's difficult, because then you put that insecurity in the kid, because you don't know if as a kid, you know, okay, I'm good enough to do it, or I'm dancing because my mom is going to the school and saying she needs to dance or he needs to dance. So which one is?
I never actually looked at it that way, because I was never in that situation, you know, luckily. So, that is crazy.
No, it put a lot of insecurity in there, because it's like I say, you don't know if you are good enough to do something. Because always is like, no, your parents behind you and you will dance because
they're watching.
Watching, you know. So I want to go to your fitness side, you know. I've been watching you do a lot of exercise.
Yes.
and that's, I think for me, it's one of the best thing I have done it, because start doing a lot of
Yes, but
exercise. How do you balance your fitness with your dance, and how it helped you to go through your career?
so I've never actually had to think about how do I have to balance it, because they both, I equally love them. I love them both. And from a young age, speaking of my dad again, so my dad was in the special forces, and he used to train when I was younger. So
I
I
see.
would literally hold like 2 milk bottles and do lunges across the grass with him. So from a young age, I've always just been a very active child. So my parents put me into like 2 CrossFit classes when I was 5. We were just like experimenting with what I would love. And from there, it was always just like fitness and dancing. Obviously, I would dance more at a young age. Right now, it's more balanced. So I've never really had to say, okay, today I'm doing fitness and then I'm doing dancing. I usually just do both in one day, or I take it as my body feels, because you can't really tell how you're going to feel after a specific dance or after a workout, but also you got to push yourself if you want to get to a certain level. And when it comes to how it helps me with my dancing, a lot of my dance teachers would frown upon it because I do weight training, and I've been doing it since I was 14 with a guy named Neil Bester.
Okay.
And he knows my body to the T, because obviously I've been with him since I was young. And he pushes me to my limits with regards to endurance, strength, and explosiveness, So I wouldn't be able to jump the way I jump if it wasn't for that type of training, And I'm sure you know Michael Reevy.
Yes.
Yes. So, so Michael Reevy was the one that said, okay, you do have big legs for a dancer, but let's use them. And he taught me so many things that I would say most male dancers in this country can't even do, So he helped me get to the position I'm in with regards to how my body performs, And I use that strength to do things that females can't do, So fitness helps in so many ways in preventing injuries. I feel like so many dancers just dance, and they don't actually have the conditioning or the prehab. So they injure themselves. So how are you supposed to do a pirouette without a foot? You know what I mean? It's like, it works hand in hand to me. And like I was speaking to you before, we actually started with Patkash. She does a lot of plyometrics with me. So that's like balancing on the bozu, holding 2 kilo weights in the hands, and then trying to balance on one leg, doing a développé, So she's very much my stability work. And then the strength, the endurance, and the stability come hand in hand as a dancer, because I'm sure you'll agree with me. As a dancer, we need to be flexible. We need to be artists. We need to be strong. We need to be cardio, like vascularly fit. So there's so many aspects from all different parts of the fitness industry that need to come hand in hand to be a good dancer. So I feel that as a dancer, you should be doing other things other than dancing, because it takes a lot more to be a good dancer.
And it's important that you say that, because some of the kids that are just don't want to do physical press. When I do physical press in my class, they just go like, ah. Yeah. Please tell them how important it is to have physical prep.
Yeah, no, it's really,
for your dancing,
No, it seriously is, because, well, I mean, the amount of injuries that are going around in my generation now is actually so scary, but it's because they're missing the basics. They really are missing them. Like you're saying, they're trying to rush. The 540 jump. So many of the girls want to do it, but they don't have the strength to do it yet.
You do 540?
Yeah.
No way.
Michael
Really?
Reeve, yeah.
He told you that? What? Okay, I never have a person next to me a girl that have 540. That's interesting. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So a lot of the females want to do that now, but they don't have the strength to do it and the knowledge. So you're just going to throw yourself into something that's going to injure you. For what? Rather take time to get there and do it properly, so you're able to do better things after that. So it's all a waiting game, and patience and consistency, and doing the basics. And that's why I do ballet, because I feel like ballet is the basic of every dance form. You can agree with me or disagree with me. That's what I fully believe in. As much as it's not my favorite, I know I have to do it, because sometimes you have to do things you don't enjoy in order to be great at the things you enjoy. So I force myself to do ballet because I know it's going to help me with my contemporary, it's going to help me with my jazz, and it also gives me more room for creativity when I improvise, when I choreograph. So everything goes hand in hand at the end of the day, Yeah.
100%. No, it's for me, it's like, I always thought that when I was in the school, like physical praise was not bad, but we never went into having like, okay, we want to do physical prayer. I ended up doing that after a few years.
Yes.
You know, when I realized that is when I realized that ballet will take you there to your body to have a beautiful body or whatever you want to have. But if you don't have the physical prayer after that, no matter what you think that your body is strong, won't be strong. Because I thought, no, I don't need to be muscle to lift the girl. My the strength is inside.
Yes. And then you find out different.
I have to done with a girl that is taller than me. I'll say, no, I can't do it. You know, I have technique for partner work.
No.
No, you have to have like muscle, you know,
Yes, exactly.
to
And
be able to
I
lift.
mean, you're lifting another person. You can't now because you're weak. You're gonna injure her. You know.
And my thought was no, because we have a really good class in Cuba about Padedes class that we don't need to lift. You know, it's just about technique.
Yes.
No, but you need to have a little bit of strength just to lift a person, because
Exactly.
you can have a like single, that's fine.
Yes.
But what happens if you get another
Someone
girl
that's a little
that
bit
is
heavier.
taller than you know, and a little bit
Yeah.
heavier? That's impossible for you not to have
strength.
the strength, you know. Because Michael is the one that told me every time that we did like class
Yes.
in Jobu Ballet, he was saying, okay, we finish one exercise and we do push up. We finish one exercise of ballet, we do
Can I
push
tell
up.
you, we before I actually went to the World Championships, this is speaking about the topic you asked before, how do I prepare for competition? So how we used to train is we used to go for a 10 kilometer run,
Oh wow.
come back to the studio, run all my solos, one after another, and I was competing like 7 solos at that time. And I mean, they were demanding solos, and then we would literally train so much together as well. So he would train with me as well, like hit workouts, burpees. So like you said, he also taught me what it's like to be a fit dancer and in shape. Because also he was teaching me since I was 11, and
Really?
yes, and then COVID happened, and then like I put on a lot of weight, and he saw me and was like,
No.
you can't go on stage. So then he was doing hit workouts with me, training me in that way. And yeah, he would come to my house at 3 o'clock in the morning because I went to normal school, and we would train for 2 hours together. Then I would go to school, come back home in the afternoon, and then Michael is waiting for me. We'd train again in the afternoon, you know. So Michael was always there next to me when it came to mental toughness and with the things that I can do, as in like the turns and the tricks and all of that. So
I mean,
yeah.
Michael is the type of
He's
person
crazy. I love that man.
that if you really want to grow as a dancer, you need to contact him.
I agree 100%. And I feel like it's very sad that we don't have a lot of technicians like that in this country. Because after he had left South Africa, I was like, who can I look now? Who can I go to? And I was like, Michael was the one, you know?
100%.
And he has taught me so much.
No,
that now I share to my students. You know, that's how much I've learned from him.
I always say, no, Michael really is the one that make me understand how difficult is this career. Because at the age when
You
we
see
came,
how hard they work.
I know. We came here in 2011. We were like 18. Michael already was like 35,
Yes.
36. That guy, of course, when you have young people next to you, you just want to show off more.
Yes.
But that guy was like jumping even more than us. I was
Trust me,
like,
I know.
how? You know?
Yeah.
But it's the mentality that he had, the mindset that he had, that he
Exactly.
just like work.
Like people, and I feel like that's also what's lacking in South Africa, is that, like we said, because of the parents, they giving their kids everything on a silver platter. So when I go to Europe and I'm doing the training sessions there as well, the children are so hungry for everything. They just want to be the best in the class, but in the healthiest way. They are willing to do anything to get to where they want to be, you know, whereas here it's more like, I want to be there, but how? You know, I don't want to do the work, but I still want to be there, you know. So like you said, Michael really opened my eyes to what is out there.
It's super crazy.
Yes.
Shout out to Michael. And how do you see the future vision of South Africa in dance? Like, how do you see it?
Okay, when it comes to corporate, I can't really speak in those terms because I'm not really in the corporate world and I don't see myself in that world. But in terms of theatre, I don't think it's as appreciated as it should be compared to also the global scale. So hopefully one day that will change, but I can't really speak in terms of how I think the future is going to go because at this rate, I feel like a lot of dance teachers are also very selfish with their pupils. So, for example, if you're my student, I'll be like, no, you can't go train with them because they're a different studio, you know. You can't learn everything from me. So go and learn from other people, you know. You need to be learning from different people to learn as much knowledge as you can, because I don't know everything, you know. So I feel like a lot of dance schools restrict their students from going to learn from different places, and I feel like that leaves a big gap in this industry, because how else are you also supposed to meet new people? You know, so I feel like it's very restricted at the moment. Yeah.
No, I think I agree with you. And what do you think there is enough opportunity for young dancing in South Africa?
Again, in theatre world, no, I don't think so. I don't know how it is with ballet, but with contemporary and all of that, there isn't anything.
Really?
No, there really isn't. And if there is, I think it's like once in a while, you know. It's nothing like, we don't have a contemporary company, for example.
That was the other day I have Pumi asking, I asked the same thing,
Yes.
like, why do we have two ballet company, and we don't have like contemporary
Exactly.
company? There is like a private company, but like
Yes.
a national contemporary dance
There
company, there is
isn't.
nothing.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
Why is that?
I wish I knew, to be honest with you. I feel like, firstly, the dance industry is very small here. So for that to be financially stable as well, I feel like it would be difficult. But also, I don't know enough about that, about opening up companies and stuff to be able to know.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know how the corporate world is either. I'm not really much in it, so I can't really tell. I don't really want to be in it, so I can't really tell if there is work or not. But that's why I feel like a lot of the young generation, especially my generation, are in competition still, because that's all we have here to push us.
That's
You know,
why.
so that's also another reason why competitions are on a bigger scale.
And what do you think that the industry is missing in South Africa?
Creativity, good mentors, and like I said, we need to be more open-minded with how we tackle competitions. And I'm speaking, yes, a lot about competitions, but it's because that's the biggest thing we have in South Africa, and people need to be more open to being different. So like I was saying, in Europe, people go into competitions doing something that they don't know if they're going to win with, but they're doing it because they know it's completely different to what they did the last competition. And in South Africa, people are going to rather do something that they're comfortable with just so they can get the trophy. But we also have a very minimal amount of dance classes here. So I stopped competing at the age of 16. And when I finished competing, I was like, geez, where do I even go? You know, that's why I travel overseas. And I come back and I just teach what I've learned there, and then I come and work on my creativity. I improvise a lot. And, you know, it's very difficult to know where else to go when you're done with competitions, because the only way then is either ballet company, because that's what we have, or corporate world. You know, there's no room for being in theatre, which is something I would live in, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit scary actually, but you make do with what you have. And saying that, for example, you also need to push yourself more. A lot of dancers in this country lack that. In terms of, yes, you can work hard, they work hard, but in terms of entering, for example, when I was 9 years old, I would enter competitions that would allow me to enter higher age categories, because I was already winning in my age category. So I'd be like, what's next? So I'd enter the higher age category, so I had more of a competition. Or I would enter any song, I'd pick any song, cut it to 2 minutes because that was the restricted time, and I would go on stage and improvise. Because for me...
Really?
Yeah. Because for me, that was the beauty. That's the beauty in the art. If you have to practice... do you think a painter goes and paints a piece twice exactly the same? No.
No.
But the beauty is in the rawness of the movement. And that's why I did that, because it showed me and it proved to myself that I was a pure artist. Because if you can go with what you feel is right and make people feel with that, you're a dancer, you know?
You're blowing me away.
So for me, that's the type of thing that people need to start doing more. Doing what's uncomfortable, you know, doing what's different. Because if you have a certain leotard, I've seen this many times, she's wearing a Rossa leotard that's pink. I need to have a purple one. You know, it's like everyone is just trying to follow each other. Because if you're winning with something, I'm also going to try to do that so I can win. No, if she's winning with that, what can I do different so I can win and beat that? So it's, yeah, I think the whole mindset of the industry needs to just shift a little bit, you know?
What's next for you? Like, are you preparing something? What are you doing?
So I'm obviously teaching and choreographing, and I would love to carry on doing that because it's honestly my biggest passion. But right now I'm actually currently writing my matric finals.
Okay, good luck on that.
Thank you. And I definitely do want to study further, but I'm still trying to put my finger on what I actually want to study. But yeah, dance will always stay in my heart, and it will always go with me wherever I go. So I don't think I could ever get rid of dance, and dance could ever get rid of me.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, I'm just going to continue following my path and take whatever opportunities come my way.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's
And the last one, what advice will you give to the new generation?
Stick to your own lane. Worry about yourself. And honestly, nobody cares. So you just got to do what you do best. And I always say this, and I'll always carry on saying this, is you can only be your best self by being yourself. No one can be better. And dance is a matter of opinion. So you might as well just do what you think is right. And you need to make sure you're in the right environment. You need to make sure you have the right people next to you. And in my honest opinion, rather have no people next to you rather than the wrong people next to you. And yeah, you just got to try find yourself within dance, and you can do that by experiencing more dance styles, putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. For example, I would message people when they were hosting workshops and it said senior workshop, and I was 10 years old. I'd be like, can I come? Because you want to be the worst in the class. If you're the best in the class, why the hell are you there? If you want to show off, go show off somewhere else. But everyone is in class to learn, you know. So you want to make sure that you're the worst in the class, because then next time you go to the same class, you know, if you're better than everyone else, okay, I've improved. So you just got to keep pushing yourself in different ways and in every way possible. So yeah, because everyone wants it just as bad as you. Everyone has the same hours in the day as you. So just keep pushing.
This is amazing. Yo, wow, I really enjoyed this podcast.
Thank you
It
for
was
having
amazing.
me.
No, always,
it's
always.
so nice to share everything with.
Yes, that's why my goals with this podcast, that everybody that comes here can share everything and feel like, okay, I said it, you know.
And I think everyone needs to hear what everyone else has to say, you know, different
100%.
opinions and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's nice
Cool.
to hear.
Thank you so much, Tatijana.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. I will see you soon again.
Definitely.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching another episode of that podcast. Remember to subscribe, like, and hit all the buttons. Thank you. See you in the next.